getting your notes or what?
Oh, yeah. Back in a sec. Welcome back to Tied Down TV, the punk rock opinion show with me, Geoff.
And Danny.
And today we're doing our top favourite live venues.
Yeah, and you know, it's pretty relevant to do it this week of all weeks with the unfortunate news that the legendary Boom in Leeds has unfortunately announced it's closing down this week. But, you know, I think they're just, I don't think it's the total end for it. I think they are looking to move premises.
So I've heard, they're looking for somewhere new. But it's obviously an end of an era because it's one of the most sort of legendary independent music venues in the UK, isn't it?
When it comes to hardcore and punk, it's one of the big name venues. I haven't been there much myself. I've got to see fucking Sheer Terror in there. That was amazing.
That's quality.
Yeah. But yeah, so this isn't going to be a top 5 where you pick 5 and I pick 5. This is going to be, we've just picked out all our favourite venues from around the country, really.
Exactly. Because a lot of ours would have been the same. We'd have probably touched on 3 or 4 that we'd have both been like, well, I want that, I want that, I want that. So so we're just
and what makes up your best venue? It can be memories you've got in there, shows you've seen, the layout. Yeah. Obviously, nowhere we picked has a barrier.
No,
because you don't want a barrier.
You don't want to see a punk show with a barrier. That's silly.
Memories you've got in there. You know, it's a lot of it's like you know, it's what you've got your most fond memories of, things like that. So the first place I'm going to mention to begin this is a place when I very first started going to shows, a place that was kind of really like seemed to be the centre of what a lot of shows was the Slaughterhouse in Liverpool. Yep. Now, obviously, us being maybe like involved in the Liverpool scene, a lot of our venues that we pick are going to be Liverpool venues. And the Slaughterhouse seemed to be like very, very early 2000s. A lot of stuff was going on in the Slaughterhouse. Yeah. I remember a lot of my mates who were going on about the Slaughterhouse a lot of things went on there. Yeah. Played there a few times myself. It was a really good venue. Nice and wide in there and stuff. Brilliant place for a gig. But a lot of stuff was going on in there, and around that time there seemed to be a lot of stuff going on. I remember like Crow put a few things on, really good shows in there. Played a few Dean, Video Nasties, put on a lot of good stuff in there. I'd probably have to put that in this list of favourite venues. I'd say.
Yeah. I went once when God, I can't even remember what the show was, to be honest, to the Slaughterhouse. Yeah. As I say, I like when I was start going to shows, it was kind of the tail end of the Slaughterhouse having shows on, really.
I remember bands like November Coming Fire, Derail, Sanctum and that.
So a band called And None of Them Knew Where They Were Robots or something like that. I feel like that's who I saw in there, like a post-hardcore sounding band. I could be wrong, but someone, if you saw that show by any chance, let me know, because that's I think that's the band I saw in there.
Yeah, so any memories of Slaughterhouse, definitely let us know in here. Yeah. Next, obviously, probably the place we cut our teeth in, I would say, is probably our next favourite is probably Heaven and Hell.
100%.
Oh God, like the good and bad memories in there for both. You know, seen so many gigs there.
Seeing gigs there, playing in there.
Yeah. You know, playing there and it going fucking badly wrong.
Oh yeah.
On more than one occasion. Yeah. But
and the drummer starts playing the wrong song, for instance, and stuff like that. You know, like
or my nose starts bleeding during a set, or or just loads of stuff. But also legendary Knuckle. The first time I ever seen Knuckle Dust was in there. Yeah. It was insane. I seen US Bombs in there. The whole Dead and Gone records. Thing came through Heaven and Hell.
Yeah, a lot of the thrash gigs.
All the thrash gigs, loads of the thrash gigs was in there. Obviously, it had an up and downstairs. Mikey Guac and Roll used to work in there during that time. Remember him always being behind the bar.
Painted it all as well, I think, didn't he?
I don't know.
I'm sure he told me that. You'd have to verify it, but
And I remember one of the best gigs I've seen in there was Irate. Okay. Irate, Special Move, Blades of Unity. Nice. Heaven and Hell was just a fucking brilliant place. I'd say it was our Planet X.
Yeah, well, we're too young for Planet X, but at the time, punk and hardcore in Liverpool, that was 100% where it was happening, wasn't it? It was Heaven and Hell.
And it was weekly.
Oh,
it was literally
all
weekly.
the time. Yeah.
You know, I can't even remember in the top of my head now the amount of gigs that were on in there.
Nah.
This video will end and I'll remember. I should have mentioned that gig. I should have mentioned that
there
gig.
Was loads. There was loads of mad things. Remember Horse the Band in there and fucking. God, who else was it? Oh, I can't remember. There's loads.
A few of the Night of the Living Deads was in there.
Yeah.
It was.
Well, the one we talked about in the Thrash gig video that we went to was the Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah,
that was in there.
Yeah, and then when Heaven and Hell closed down, it was like everything kind of came to nothing for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like, but then there was a few little places started popping open. I remember the Casimir started putting some good stuff on. But one place that people always seem to forget is there was a place called the Drezla Lounge up by Bumper. Is that Hardman Street? Is that what that is? Up there, yeah. And I remember that had some really good stuff. I remember AJSYB put some stuff on in there. Video Nasties put some stuff on there. There was, and that it was only a very small place, but that for a while was like.
That was the happening place.
Yeah, that was the place. That put on a few really good things in there. There and Korova around the same time. Drezla Lounge in Korova. It was downstairs in Korova.
Yeah.
I remember fucking you had. I remember Dirty Money and Trapped Under Ice played in there. I remember Adolescence.
Yeah.
And then that was one of your famous misses.
Yeah. I couldn't get out of the way. My better half actually went to it, and I remember her telling me she was like, and it was. Dean put it on, didn't he?
Yeah.
And she was saying, bumped into Dean, he's putting on a show, Adolescence, and I was like, fucking hell. Couldn't get my shift swapped, I was working an evening shift and work, so I couldn't go.
Yeah, it was.
She went, told me it was fucking great.
It was, I went, it was brilliant. Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. So then after...
Played in Korova, actually, but not in a hardcore band, when I was in like a kind of indie experimental band, where we played a few times in Korova.
Yeah.
It's a good venue, very good venue.
Yeah, I liked it in there, it was good downstairs and that. And then, obviously, going out of Manchester, you think about Chester, had a little thing for a while, Frog and Nightingale.
Frog and Nightingale, definitely.
Yeah, had some good stuff. And what's the name of that place? Is it the Mail Club?
Post Office.
Post Office, that had...
Yeah, stuff like bands in there.
Don't know if it's still got stuff going on
I haven't got a clue, I don't think so. They have, like, most things now down there's like the live rooms and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, Chester had a few little things going on back then, yeah. I remember... the famous SSS Down and Out Walk the Plank thing passed through there, and Frog and Nightingale got absolutely demolished. I remember that.
It did.
Yeah. So then, out of there, you've obviously got Manchester. I always think Manchester's had a lot more venues than Liverpool over the years. Like, do you know what I mean? On a consistent basis.
Consistently, I think you're probably right. It's a great city, though, isn't it? Especially musically. But so when you're talking about Manchester,
obviously,
Star and Garter.
The most obvious one is probably Star and Garter. Over the years, all the legendary gigs that I've seen in Star and Garter, you know what I mean?
And we did play, you played in your other band as well,
I played there a few times,
I played there once with the original Schoolyard Brawl.
Yeah. And obviously... Thinking back to some of the funny stories, I mean, the Star and Garter was one. I think because of the shape of the Star and Garter, because it's narrow,
long and narrow, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like shit can go on. And we recently saw Spy in there,
and Stiff Meds.
And it was insanely violent. Like I haven't seen a show that violent in a long.
Literal fucking whole like plastic bin got thrown across the crowd, getting blasted back and forth, and we were like, fucking hell. And I saw it genuinely, literally like a cartoon or something, just went over someone's head.
Literally, it was inevitable. This bin was just going everywhere, an empty big dustbin, and then literally, what happens? Obviously, it was going to happen. It literally goes, vroom, and all you can see is these pair of legs going up and down like that. Yeah,
that was great.
Yeah, oh fuck yeah! I remember. There as well, remember Knuckle Dust Hoods Awoken in there, and a gang of skinheads turned up.
Okay.
And I remember there was like, it wasn't like an actual official fight, but they were trying to fucking outmuscle like the hardcore kids in there. And I remember Pierre saying, "You fucking hardcore kids stick together," and all that. You know what I mean? That was violence as well. A lot of the most violent gigs I ever went to was in the Star and Garter. Again, I think because of the shape of it, and everyone's kind of close together. Yeah. And then there was a sound control as well. I saw some really good stuff in there. I seen Bane in there. I seen Down to Nothing. I think Trapped Under Ice again, Madball. There's a lot of good stuff in there. And then, what was the name of the place that was under Gillies? I don't know if it...
Under Gillies?
I think it was under Gillies. There was a place there, and I remember seeing Terror down there, Death Threat. 6 Foot Ditch.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know if it was just called Jilly's. Do you know what I mean? But it might have just been the underneath of Jilly's. But I thought it had its own music box or something.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe I never went there then.
Yeah. But, yeah, I always remember this place underneath Jilly's, and that had loads of stuff on in there. I remember Ryan Kruger, who's obviously my mate director, who's just recently done the Street Trash remake, and he did the movie Fried Barry. He was filming 6 Foot Ditch's music video, and he filmed a lot of footage down in this place. So that was pretty cool in there. Where else can we think of? Anywhere else in Manchester?
I think we've got to shout Rebellion out.
Rebellion, yeah, amazing venue.
We especially over the last couple of years, we've seen a lot of shows at Rebellion, haven't we? Again in Manchester, especially your more established bands, because obviously we've seen like Cro-Mags, Madball, DRI all played in there in recent times. DRI, one of my favourite gigs ever went to, and we've talked about it, haven't we, a little bit? But I'll never forget the fucking guy. Remember the guy who busted his nose? Oh,
and I got his blood all over his shorts.
But he looked like, I remember him getting up on the stage with his bloody nose, and he was like, rah! And he looked like a wrestler, because he had that long hair, all this blood pissing that. Oh, do you remember that Andrew WK album cover where he had something like that? And he was just like, rah! And then the next thing you know, the bouncers fucking getting him out of the venue. He was bleeding. And his blood was fucking everywhere.
And then they played fucking 5 Year Plan, which is my favourite song. I jumped up.
To do stage dive.
Did a little roly-poly across the front of the stage. And I got up and I was like, jumped off to you, and I went, yes! Like that. And you're like, look at your shorts. And I had that guy's blood all down my fucking shorts.
That was great though. What else have we seen there? Fucking hell.
Rebellion gets a lot of good stuff. Bruceera was amazing.
That was amazing.
It was amazing in there.
Was really good.
I broke my tooth at Madball. Freddie Madball's shoulder.
Fucking hell, what else? Well, like you say, loads of stuff really. We've been there a few times, seen death metal, black metal bands in there.
Oh yeah, it gets everything in there. But obviously you think about things like Gorilla as well.
Oh, Gorilla's great. I mean, fucking how good was that Fiddlehead show in Gorilla? Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the place as well. There was a place years and years ago where they did a Dead and Gone all day there, and Underdog headlined it, and it was like Nothing Done, Justice, Walk the Plank, all them type of bands. Same place, Municipal Waste and SSS played in there. Can't remember the name of it. I might be able to track down the flyer and pop it on here, but that was a good venue for a while as well. Manchester has always had lots of little good nooks and crannies, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Even now still. Because like even in recent times, like where we saw Off, what was it called?
Yeah, I don't know what,
The Yes, or something like that it was called. Never been there before. It was a decent venue, to be fair. And I think they just pop up all the time, don't they, like up there now? Yeah. Or did anyway, all the time.
Yeah. Obviously another, going back to Liverpool, another place that's unfortunately closed its doors, the Pilgrim. Pilgrim had some really good shows on in there, you know. Not just like hardcore. Remember Tom Gannad has put on some good black metal stuff in there. Remember seeing Woden Throne and people like that in there. Upstairs, you know, a lot of good stuff in the Pilgrim. It's really sad that place is closed.
It was a good place. Even just a nice place to go and have a hangout. You know what I mean? It was just a nice venue, nice pub.
Yeah. And then obviously, let's just have a look here. So we've mentioned a lot of the ones we were going to. Slaughterhouse, obviously, a big one for Liverpool at the minute is Outpost.
Formerly Maguire's.
Yeah, I say at the minute, but it has been going for a long time as Maguire's as well. And that's got a lot. That's always, you know, it's had a lot of stuff on there for years, hasn't it?
A lot of shows happen there quite often nowadays, don't they?
And they've made it bigger now, I think. Like, it never used to be as close. Like, you know, where the drum set, drum kit and that is. I feel like that's further back now. Okay. I remember when shows first started there, it feels like it was much closer and squashed in. Okay. I'm sure it might be just my imagination, but it looks like they've extended it a little bit to me.
Point it out next time we're there.
Yeah. But other than that, I think we've mentioned a lot of the places we've gone to, but obviously us being Wirral boys, Wirral isn't without its legendary gigs as well, in strange places. New Brighton Sailing Club, you know, there was an abandoned ship gig in there that was good, that my old band played. That was pretty cool. Walk the Plank obviously played there. It was I think that was a thrash gig that was kind of
just like an all-day fucking bar.
That was
footy
cool.
outside and everything.
But probably for me, the most legendary of the like Wirral hardcore gigs for me was probably the one Tom Pimler put on, which was the Fork gig, which was No Tolerance, Give, Violent Reaction, I think, and I think might have been one of the early Flex gigs as well. I mean, imagine that, a gig in the New Brighton Fort.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, fucking amazing. Obviously, we were too young, unfortunately, for Planet X.
Yeah.
Which is obviously...
That's the legendary venue, isn't it? Around like Liverpool, especially in the 80s.
Yeah, and you hear the older guys talk about some of the bands that played in there all the time and that. It just sounds like it was the best thing ever.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. So have we missed anything out? Yeah, let's have a look. I feel like we've been a bit unorganised this week.
I think I've obviously current ones that we need to talk about is Guac and Roll.
Yeah, but we go. This is probably a good place to finish the episode on, because obviously Guac and Roll is a place we go on about a lot.
Yeah.
With it being a place that we're always at. You know, already. It hasn't been open long. How long? Not even 2 years.
It's moved, didn't it? It used to be somewhere else.
Yeah, but I don't think it was a venue then.
It
wasn't a venue then. Obviously, Guac and Roll is, think of all the good times that have happened in there already. The Enzyme gig.
That's fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, the Enzyme gig where everyone was dancing to Boney M.
Yeah,
at the end.
just this mad Australian crusty noisy fucking punk band.
Yeah.
And then when they finished the set, you just put Rasputin on by Boney M, and the place went off, didn't
it?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
We had, what's her name? Beatrice from Retsu was crowd surfing, I think, during that and everything. Like,
obviously, it's had its fair share of legendary bands there as well. Stalag 13, which we helped put on. The Pissed, who legendary band. Yeah. Long Knife was amazing in there. That was a really fucking great one for me.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've always said I loved about Guac is I always feel that the atmosphere Heaven and Hell had has not really been. There hasn't really been a place like that, but Guac's kind of got it.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? It's kind of got that.
I think it's just, as soon as you walk in, I think because it's like, it's like there's like bright coloured walls, isn't it? Like pink, but flyers, pictures, frame pitch, all kinds, everywhere. It just screams like that kind of vibe and that like punk hardcore, welcoming, Mikey and Carly, dead sound, always chatting away to everyone who's there, and it's just.
You know what I like about it?
Like a homely, nice.
But you know what I like about it as well. There's just that little small sense of danger in Guac.
A little bit,
little bit of small sense.
I think because it's...
Yeah, but I don't just mean in there. I mean, because of where it is and the fact it's in a bit
out the way.
Yeah, like you had that tit the other day who tried to sell a fucking steak outside, and when everyone started laughing at him, he picked the fucking chair up and started going, and started fucking swinging at everyone. Obviously, there's them pricks who came in that time and tried to kick off.
Well, it's in an area where you definitely find it's a little less populated, isn't it? So
that's what I like about it. It really does have that old school punk venue feel.
I'm going to use a word you love, but it's got that aesthetic that you need.
But it's got that just that little sense of danger, like something.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Definitely.
Yeah,
it's fucking beautiful. Rock and Roll, love it.
Yeah. So let's see. Have we mentioned everywhere? I think we have.
I think we've touched on most of it now. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, no.
Thingy,
No, actually, the only the one place I do want to say is one of my favourite ever venues, actually, is the Dome in London. Played there a few times. The two main venues I remember in London back then, there's probably a lot more now, was the Dome and the Underworld. And obviously, like the Ninja Fests and all that were always in the Underworld and stuff, but I had a thing for the Dome. I really liked the Dome. There was 2 floors, both massive downstairs.
Yeah.
And intimidating, but really fucking spacious, and played there like 2 or 3 times, but I went to quite a few gigs down there as well. And funny story about there is one time we played there on this like Ruction Records all day, and Keefe, our guitarist, was stood behind me while the band was playing, and there was stairs leading up. He was just stood next to the stairs, and he must have been having like some sort of wedding upstairs, and this like guy came downstairs and grabbed Keefe, because like I think like the bridesmaid had collapsed or something, and was like, "Can you come upstairs to help now?" or something like that. And it wasn't like, I don't know if it was like a Jewish wedding or something like that. And like we all went upstairs to see what had happened, and it was just like insane. It was just like in the middle of this fucking big gig, our guitarist got pulled upstairs to help with this collapsed fucking bridesmaid or something. It was mad.
Why him?
Because he was the closest.
Because he was there.
Yeah.
Okay. So I get on no first aid.
But the Dome in London, I always had some real good like memories from the Dome, both scary and good again.
Yeah. Nice.
So, anything you want to add?
I can't think of any others we haven't really touched on, especially that were important for along the years of going to shows, punk shows, hardcore shows especially.
Yeah.
Obviously, like you say, Liverpool's our kind of like where we go to shows, so there's probably tons around the country that we won't have been to or
actually,
know of.
There is one I have to mention we've missed out on, and it was very important for a while as well, and that's Roadkill.
Roadkill, yeah.
Yeah, Roadkill. I've just noticed we didn't mention Roadkill. I mean, fucking hell, Sick of It All played there. Gangrene played there. Yeah. The other, fucking hell, what would they call them? Narcosis, they played there. They were, yeah, there was... That was amazing, Roadkill, for a while. Yeah. And yes, played in there loads of times.
So you played in there all the time.
Yeah. That was an amazing venue. I remember all the Ruction bands played in there. It was great. It was like the main place for all that stuff at the time. And obviously that was the place where during the Sick of It All gig, I got thrown over into the barrier and I couldn't get back out. And basically for like 3 songs, it was Sick of It All. I was like an unofficial member of Sick of It All.
The best of Sick of It All. Just kind of standing there.
I had to stand there. Foxy and Marios were trying to hold the barrier up. And every time I tried to get fucking back. So I had to stand there like a div. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's a good little memory there of Roadkill as well.
Okay. So that's kind of it, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah, that's definitely it, I think.
I think that's all the ones we wanted to touch on.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely let us know, especially if you're not from our area. And even if you are, ones we've missed, might have forgot to talk about.
If you've got a funny story from any of them places, let us know.
Please do. And, the score, like, subscribe, ring the bell if you want some notifications, jump on the socials, Instagram, Facebook, all that, give us a message, follows, likes, etc., etc. It all helps and we really appreciate it. And thanks, see you next time.